Hi everyone, my name is Peng, and today I will give a presentation for a topic implementation of teal Shiny apps in DMC activities. My name is Peng, and I'm the assistant director of our innovative data science department from Sims Global. Today I will go through the contents of today's topic by introduction, and also I will illustrate a little bit of concept of DMC meetings and what we face with the current challenge in the current progress. Later, we'll introduce the open source solution and following by discussion and conclusions. So for introduction, there have been two pilot studies, as we may know, that they discuss the submission to FDA through R Shiny. With such application, an efficient and interactive review can be possibly conducted. Well, most of the applications focus on using R Shiny apps within the organization for internal review of your compound or study. We found that such as teal structure actually can be implemented for like external activities such as DMC activities for data monitoring committee. Interactive dashboard using R to perform such analysis can be inclusive to your study's specified analysis endpoint. We can utilize the R tables and turn the package to include multiple type of analysis. Moreover, such approach can provide downloadable and portable files for further reference, which is a needed feature in DMC activity. And we will also discuss the feasibility of such application into DMC activities with some details in the following slides. So for DMC meetings, the DMCs will monitor the clinical trials. The DMCs are needed to monitor in the perspective of the safety and the efficacy. The common format of current DMC meetings includes an open session and a closed session. The DMC and the sponsor, they need to communicate in the open session about the general study update, patient enrollment, and safety concern. But those discussions are in a blended format. The discussion will last around 30 minutes to 1 hour. And later, the DMC will join the closed session. In the closed session, it's usually like 30 minutes to 2 hours to discuss the unbound materials and make recommendations for the study going forward. In this session, usually an independent statistician, the unblinded independent statistician can walk through the unblinded documents and materials and closed session slides. And then after the discussion, after the closed session, a DMC will rejoin the open session, discuss with the sponsor for any concern they found during the closed session, and request for any available materials at the meeting and make corresponding recommendation to the ongoing clinical trials. So that's what we have in DMC meetings. So as you can see from the procedures that there are some challenges during the progress. The first one is multiple parties. So in currently materials delivers, we might have multiple parties to be included in current progress. The first one, we need a blended statistical team. Such statistical team will create and delivers the programming package to unbound independent statistician. I usually serve as independent statistician for DMC studies. So I will receive such blended programming package, and I also will receive another unblended the datasets. Usually unblended datasets will include the randomization code or other unblended informations. So I will utilize the blended programming package and unblend the data to generate unblended materials and then deliver them to the DMC committee. Then DMC committee will receive such unblended materials and review. However, for the materials that we deliver to the DMC, another difficulty is the PDF document. Usually, we will deliver the combined PDF outputs. It will include a really large number of pages. The DMC reports can be 1,000 or to 10,000 pages or even much more, which can be hard to review with 1 week prior to the meetings. There are no like the detail level. Even we have a bookmark, but the materials can be too long. And such static output, usually the PDF output can be somehow inefficient. The DMC members need to manually search for the keywords for the parameters. When it comes to PDF output, you need to Control F for some parameters for the visit so they can find the corresponding information. And also sometimes they may not have the sufficient information. DMC members might request for subgroup analysis for certain tables, and those information might be needed for a further decision. And in case they need more information, there will be a time-consuming follow-up. And in case they need more information, the DMC member will request such information in the rejoin open session, communicates with the sponsor, say, hey, I need this materials. Can you create generate such information for me? And then the blinded programming blinded statistical team will write a program and generate dummy outputs and test if it can work, and then deliver the blended package to the unblind independent statistician. Independent statistician will generate the unblind result again and deliver to the DMC. So such progress will usually take several days or even 1 week. So that's all the challenges, potential challenges we face right now. So from our perspective, as recently we realized more and more open source solution and it becomes mature, and we found that to overcome current challenges in DMC activities, we can actually use the open source R-Shiny solution tool to streamline the review, which is a really good structure. So as we ask our data science team to start such process utilizing the tool for DMC activity, there are several steps. That's actually what we did in the current practice. The first one, you need to identify the elements and the packages from teal series. There are actually a lot of teal series packages. You need to identify the purpose and what they can achieve. The first one can be really useful is the teal data. So teal data, it can help you to combine the ADAM datasets as long as you have the ADAM datasets and you can read those datasets in your environment. They will provide the defaults. Actually, they provide the default CDX join key, as you can show here on the right-hand side. They provide such join key so that the ADAM datasets can be merged together for further analysis. Usually in the actual analysis, we need to combine the ADSL or and other ADAM dataset to filter some populations or parameters and provide such join keys so that you can utilize directly, and then combine them into a teal data object so that it can be used into teal structure. So that's the first one. The second one is the teal slide. So this is actually, it's a really flexible and a fancy feature that in the interactive review, when you merge text, for example, here, the ADSL, ADLB, when you want to utilize both of the subjects into the data parts, if you want to specify some visits, usually for the lab result, we have like 20 or 30 parameters or several visits. You want to specify which parameter you want to take a look and which visit you want to focus on. So through this filter panel, you can choose the parameter you want to see and choose the visits you want to focus. So it's really flexible. You can input as many as variables you want, and then choose the desired condition for such filters. And then in the middle of the panel, you will see your updated results. So it's really helpful for the subpopulation results. Once you have the main template, it will update instantly, and the DMC members can review it. The third part is to the reporter. It will generate the instant report. So after you review the results, and you can click the add card button, and those cards can be summarized into a report review tab. And you can see, oh, you have your average event reviewed. You can use summarize variable by row of tables on the right-hand side. You can review if those tables and results are acceptable to you. And then you can save it into multiple type of output, for example, HTML, docx, PDF, and you can download it. And also, if you have multiple outputs, you can include the table of contents, or even include R code to replicate the results. After you click download the report, it will give you zip files of the desired output formats, HTML or docx output or PDF output, following by the R code. So such materials outputs can be utilized as a DMC meetings evidence. So it's pretty useful for the DMC activity. So after the first step, once you figure out what's the basic teal package, another one is the teal modules. So teal modules are really I can say it's the main important features in the teal structure. They have already developed a lot of available modules you can utilize directly from teal modules clinical and teal modules general. So teal modules clinical, they have multiple modules specifically for the clinical trial usage. Another one is the general usage. So We curated some functions here for everyone's reference. That TMT summary function can be utilized for single visits, multiple parameters. For example, tables of disposition, demographic, and TMT events function can be utilized for occurrence data, for example, concomitant medication, medical history, protocol deviation, and adverse events. Another one is the TMT summary by. It will be utilized for multiple visits, multiple parameters, for example, lab values and vital signs. And TMT, TTE, TMT summary by will be utilized for tables of the time to events. And those are for the summary level. And they also provide different modules for subject level, TMT, PP, or TMG, PP. Here T is table and G is for graphic. And they provide different modules for subject level data display. They have too many modules here. I provide the link here. You can check the more details. Another one is the TMT TM data table. It's an interactive data set review. After you can communicate with the data by using the teal slides to find the corresponding filter and see what's in the data set. So after you picking up all those modules and the function there, you need to categorize, separate into different groups, since you don't want to just display all the modules there and see there's no structure. So in DMC, usually it will separate to 3 or 4 structure. It will separate into baseline, safety, and efficacy review, and usually it will follow a subject level. And in case you want to have interest for some specific patients. And in baseline, we will include a disposition, demographic, product deviation, medical history, concomitant medication. For safety, we will include the adverse events, lab results, vital signs exposure, and efficacy will include time to event CAM plots, and subject level include the basic information, medical history, concomitant medication, vital signs, exposure, adverse event, lab results. In the DMC meetings, usually DMC members may receive another materials of patient narrative. So those information from the safety database. So in case they want more information from the clinical database, they can say, oh, I want this subject and I want to query such information. They can go to the subject level. And it will for subject level teal module, it will give you a really interactive and intuitive result so that you can have a general idea of the patients and make corresponding recommendation. So the next step is add features of upload the data of the teal data module. For this part, actually, it's a little bit difference in current practice of teal, as far as I know. That teal actually is developed for study specific level. I read a lot of slides of teal structure that for each study, each study programmer can build their own study and build their own server so that they can interact. But and yeah, it can be best for the usage. It's multiple server for each study. You have like 10 server for 10 studies, so each people will just log in their servers for their own studies. However, when it comes to the external review, like multiple parties, we cannot have an internal review only. We need to figure out how to host one server for each study. It can be used for several studies and sponsor, and we make the connection between different source of the data and the one server. So the one thing here, thanks for the contribution of such module, that the teal data, not only we can include the teal data in the package bundle, but also we can have the teal data module that enable the connection to the external data. One intuitive connection is the user can upload the data, but if you have a database or other source to saving the files, you can make a connection of such by utilizing the teal data module. So in that case, when it's come to a different study, you just upload the ADAM dataset to the teal module so that it can analyze for your data. Well, adding data is a direct approach that you can upload the ADAM dataset onto that. But another thing comes to us, the difficulty can be you need to make sure different kinds of data can be read from into teal modules. If you are working within one organization, it might be not that hard, since within one organization, even though you have different study, the standard per your organization's SOP or guidelines, you should follow pretty similar data sets. So it won't be a lot of difference, but when it comes to us, across the different sponsor and different study, we cannot guarantee the data standard are pretty similar. So to ensure that one Shiny server can work for multiple study, we need our solutions to provide a configuration or connection file to build to ensure the data can be read to such modules. A file here can be really intuitive approach can be an Excel spreadsheet. That especially includes what variable from which dataset should be read, and the file can be written by a study programmer or ambulance statistician following by a predefined template. Also, which module can be used based on current availability of the Atom dataset. Then the dataset and the configuration file can be uploaded and connect to the Shiny server. A quick example here that we utilize as an example here, you can specify you have an Excel file and it specify you have a template that, oh, what's your variable description and what is that variable? And you specify, oh, if you want a baseline module, and for baseline modules, what's your plant treatment arm and what's your choice you want to see? Sometimes you want to see the plant treatment, sometimes you want to see the actual treatment. So after this is just a subset of all the modules we have. And after you fix those variables and you upload this spreadsheet onto you can also create a upload button. Say upload the configuration file and then the teal structure. You need to read those into your server, and then those variable can be passed to each module, and then it will show you the display to see, oh, if you want to this module or not, and the default variable, what is the default variable for each module, so the teal structure can work. After you figure out you almost have a Shiny apps and you test in your local computer, say, hey, when you publish that, when you run that, you give you a Shiny page, say, oh, it can work. The next step is to upload to your server. So there's a lot of ways that you can push to server. For example, Shiny apps.io, but Shiny apps.io is not on our address or location or POSIX Connect. However, for us, in order to make it available to different parties, we may have our own server. So in that case, you might need a collaboration with the software development and ask them for their help to deploy to the server. And so we build such a Shiny server. If you search from the website, ask them to download such server and install it internally and onto your own server. After deploy with the efforts of the server setup, security, and the connection to the Shiny apps, those one can be then actually viewable to other parties. So yeah, I think in order to make it available to different party, we need a collaboration with a different team. So then the applications can be displayed as this. We just use the different tab here to categorize the different things we need and then show what information is each category and make it more intuitive for DMC members for their review. So quick following discussion here. We realized that the needs, the interactive stats, the interactive dashboards here not only comes from the sponsor internally, but also from the communication between among the party. For example, here the DMC activity, such application can solve the pain points we mentioned. And during the development, you can realize that the question can be really answered through GitHub issue page. If you submit a GitHub issue, it can be answered sometimes within one day. It's just really helpful, and sometimes it can take several days, but those questions can be really addressed based on from their development team. And from another end, as we are using this open source solution with this appealing feature, it will take cross-department effort to build, and it may need you lots of background, your knowledge, your structure to your R and statistics to make sure you can combine those knowledge together. And also from us as the current we are in the area of open source in pharmaceutical industry, we would like to suggest catching the trend of current development of open source, especially in pharma. More details you can find from the current popular Pharmaverse, and also we previously have a paper and discussion in Pharma. You can search on the website. So after those preparation, and once you deploy to the server, the next step you might want to think, oh, to what validation levels your Shiny system to be. Sometimes you want to build it into an internal level, sometimes you want to build an external level. So you really want to discuss internally and align with your company's SOP, sometimes you need to discuss with your QA department. And finally, here we make a quick conclusion that there are numerous available open source options. I think right now there is a lot of really beneficial and helpful package and good packages coming out. I believe like everyone may face the same situation that we spend time identifying the best suitable solutions. Do we want to start for RShiny from from scratch for the very beginning, or we want to utilize a available solution? What we can sense, what we can tell here is the teal has been developed and maintained for several years, and it's shown that during our development and during our usage and testing, it provides really a robust and reliable approach. So we are really happy that we can utilize that directly. So with such interactive dashboard, DMC member can focus on specific parameters, as we mentioned previously in the slides for teal slides. Visits or subjects by interaction with the dashboard, rather than search for keywords from the documents. You have a lot of page. And the analysis can be updated for different population instead of waiting from the whole circle, the blind statistician team, unblind statistician, and the deliver. They can get a result instantly from such web page and dashboard. And the more the discussed result can be downloadable as the DMC reference and recorded in the meeting minutes. And from ours end, we believe this utilizing such teal application can help improve the efficiency of DMC activities. So that's all the presentation from my side, and thank you all for your attention for this presentation.